Hey there, my name's Curtis Lucas and you're watching Empire Building. So the markets took a little bit of a tumble today. Bitcoin from the brand new high it actually made earlier this morning dropped or corrected about 9% in a matter of a few hours. Now this is by no means unprecedented for Bitcoin, but the reversal on some of the mining stocks was considerably more amplified. Now, I spent a little bit of time on Twitter today, and I couldn't help but notice a comment from a follower of the channel who accused me of having the death touch.
Say that to my face, you limp noodle!
Now, I'm not going to say or disagree with any of that. I certainly have had my moments. But as always, I do think it's very important that we maintain a sense of perspective. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in this video. But I don't think that one down day means a break of this trend. As I pointed out in the thumbnail of this video, we've only gone back down to levels from the beginning of the week. So this is certainly not enough to start getting all worried and sounding all the alarm bells. Starting with Bitcoin, yeah, you can see the last time we were at these prices was just Monday, just 2 short days ago. And we're still clearly within this uptrend. So I really don't see any reason to be concerned at this point. We did just make a new all-time high today. Although I will admit that what we witnessed happen throughout the day, this was around the opening of the market during this period right here. But I have to admit that watching this whole thing play out reminded me of a video I did earlier in the year where we had a similar experience. And just for fun, since I know that there are some new people that have joined the channel, I thought I'd recycle that meme.
Every night and every cloudy day, spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar.
Wait, why is this line going down? Oh God, just dropped 400 points. This is not happening. Dear Lord, I made a horrible, horrible mistake. Shit, it's dropping more. Fuck. I want to take it back. How do I fucking take it back? Sell. Too late, it's all gone. I've just lost my entire life savings. Oh God.
Now, I don't mean to make light of the situation when I know that there's real money on the line, and some people may have been burned quite bad throughout what played out over that very short period of time. But those are some of the important lessons we sometimes have to learn. And I kid you not, I am no stranger to this. It's very easy sometimes to let your emotions get the best of you. But I do know that many of you have been long-time holders, and a simple 10% or even 15% drop isn't anything you're not already accustomed to. And as I said, maintaining that perspective. There seemed to be some sort of a spook around inflation, like as if that was something we weren't all completely aware of. The fact that it's reached levels that it hasn't seen in the last 30 years isn't anything anybody should be surprised by. And it's kind of the reason we're here. So it's inherent that if that's the reason why the market sold off today, then it's definitely a buy the dip kind of moment. Now, I get the argument that economists are going to point to that it could lead to an increase, a more rapid response from the Federal Reserve to increase interest rates. And that would lead to a sell-off in the risk-on sectors, including Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I get it. But they've made it quite clear that they're willing to let it run hot. So I'm not going to get all worked up over those kinds of fears. The Federal Reserve just came out and made that abundantly clear. If you think these numbers shocked them in any way, think again. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, the fundamentals and the setup that we've been seeing over the last few months is perfectly intact if you ask me. There's a number of things that I'm going to be talking about when I do my video about the bull case for Bitcoin at this point. But it doesn't take a genius to see that we're in a clear uptrend here. And even in this shorter time frame, we haven't even broken that shorter trend line. And anybody that thinks we're just going to repeat this period all over again, oh, you should be so lucky. Do you know how many people are kicking themselves because they didn't buy as much as they could down at this time? These markets don't just give you second chances over and over and over again. So we've already done this. It's out of the system now. But that doesn't mean we can't get these minor fluctuations from time to time. And the fact that Bitcoin is consolidating for an extended period of time at these levels, as far as I'm concerned, is very healthy. And as I mentioned earlier, if you zoom out, things get put in a little bit more perspective. This is Riot's chart on a monthly time frame, every candlestick being 1 month. And we're only 10 days into November, and already Riot is up 34%. Marathon, despite its massive 15% drop today, is still up 24% from the beginning of the month, 10 days ago. It doesn't hurt to taper expectations, at least a little. I mean, come on, this isn't just going to go in one direction. But one thing that I have noticed is that you can see a stark contrast in the volumes that actually trade hands in these stocks. And I think this is pure evidence that there are a lot more large-scale institutional investors in these stocks. So a lot of the liquidity in these names have dropped dramatically. It's just not changing hands as quickly as they used to. A vast majority of these shares tend to get locked down. So much like Bitcoin's scarcity issue, the same effect is beginning to take hold in these companies. The shares available to be traded on the market is substantially less now than it was in our previous run-up. Now, the only one that's not true for is companies like Hut 8, and that's simply because on the last run-up, Hut 8 was not listed on the US exchanges, so there was just naturally a whole lot less liquidity. But as you can see here, for the month of November so far, Hut's not up a whole lot, but I mean, come on. Again, how long do you think it can keep this kind of price action up? Hive Blockchain took a pretty massive hit 2 days in a row simply because they announced another offering, which has put a lot of downward pressure on this stock. The good news is it's not an at-the-market offering, so like other ones, it's a once-and-done kind of thing. But it does definitely impact that perception. Nobody likes dilution, but it does give other investors the same opportunity to gain shares at a lower price, just like those institutional investors that just scooped them up. And of course, Marathon took a bit of a hit as well because they announced their earnings today. And I'm not going to get into all of that in this video. I'll save that for its own video. But Marathon did post another quarter of losses. And the vast majority of this was again attributed to a significant amount of money paid out in the form of shares to executives. Marathon has a track record of doing this. I thought that the vast majority of it would have been completed in the last quarter, but yet again, a significant amount of shares were diluted and handed out to executives. And I've argued in the past that the performance of Maroc versus all of its peers, the speed at which it was able to grow, and the decisions that were made by those executives, namely Mariko Komodo at the time, led Marathon to the position that it's in right now. So you do kind of have to ask yourself, what's that worth? Maybe it's okay to say it's fair that they pay themselves more than other companies in the same space, but it is true that it's significantly more than their peers. And the bottom line is it has a quantifiable impact on the performance per share for shareholders. And no doubt this is going to spawn many more articles pointing to those numbers and saying how inefficient the company is at mining. And that's still not the case. That's not what's impacting those values. It's pretty clear what it is. And again, if that's something that you're uncomfortable with, then that's pretty warranted. But I just don't like it when these articles inevitably start getting published that just start cherry picking little bits of data with no context whatsoever. It's lazy journalism, and get ready for it. It's coming. But as I said before, I am not calling a top, not even from Marathon here, because it is well within its uptrend. I mean, my goodness, it's been on quite a run. It's not surprising that we've had a healthy pullback at this point. And just for old time's sake, take a quick look at our good old friend SOS Limited. It's been a long time since I've done a dedicated video on that company, and I've never gotten more hate on a video than when I did videos about this company. But I'm just saying.
You know, somehow, I told you so just doesn't quite say it.
I tried to warn them. When you look back at where this thing was when I was making videos trying to warn people about how this one was going to play out, they just wouldn't listen. And I even think there are people that are looking at this going, hey, well, maybe it's a good thing to get in on now. Possibly. But again, we're talking about a company that is basically without a home. They've got some money, but if you're expecting it to perform as well as some of these other ones, as far as its operations are concerned, I wouldn't count on it. However, that doesn't mean this thing won't see some sort of significant short squeeze. It's a prime candidate for it. But I mean, just look at that volume candle. There's not been anything like that since this initial run-up here. So a lot of people realized some pretty significant losses today. And I sympathize. I really, really do. I did not want to see this happen to investors. I tried to prevent it from happening. But just for the sake of it, I do think I am going to take some time and have a closer look at what the current state of the company might be. From what I recall, they did raise a significant amount of money. So one of my questions would be, what happened to all that money? Where did it go? If they're raising more funds today, we don't know who those investors are, but what happened to all the rest of it? And this is why I wouldn't just be YOLOing into something like this, expecting that things are just going to turn around. The company has a history of some shady business practices and flat out misleading investors. And as far as I'm concerned, there are so many legitimate places where you can invest your money without taking on this level of risk. That's been my position on this company from the beginning. And I don't think that's likely to change. So I think that pretty much sums it up. Things I wanted to talk about. I do have a lot of other content planned, but I have been quite busy with my other company. Construction has been very, very busy as the temperature is starting to drop out here, and we're trying to get a lot of the exterior work completed before the snow flies. I also wanted to take this moment and thank the new supporters on Patreon that recently joined up. It is very much appreciated. And today was another one of those days when it was really nice to be a part of that community because there was a whole lot of lively discussions happening on the Discord. And like I said before, it's quite nice to have that and be a part of that when days like this come. Whether the good days and the not so good days. It does help maintain a frame of mind. But I'll tell you what else helps maintain a frame of mind is just being too damn busy to care. When you're busy building your empire, you're just not going to be as worried about what's happening to these things on a daily basis. I remain confident that the bullish thesis on Bitcoin is fully intact, but we'll definitely go more into depth on that in a coming video. Well, that's all for this one. Now let's get back to empire building.